boats have been going up and up in price in recent years to the point where they've become unaffordable for a lot of people. Now Beneteau, the French yard, have grasped this particular nettle and decided that they were really going to do something about it. So this brand new Swift Trawler 37 behind me is actually 10 to 15% cheaper than its predecessor. Now it is also a really cleverly designed boat, so it is bigger, it is better, and it is cheaper than its predecessor, the Swift Trawler 35. And I'm going to show you exactly how they've managed to achieve that and produce what I think is one of the best value boats on the market. My name is Hugo Andreae, you're watching Motorboat and Yachting. Let's go and tour it. What's particularly impressive is that as well as making the boat cheaper, they've also made it bigger and better. As the name suggests, it is 37 foot long, and it just looks that much classier than its predecessor. You've got these nice little wood highlights in these supports for the Flybridge. It's available in both a sedan and a Flybridge model, and prices for this boat start at a rather surprising £281,000 ex VAT. Now realistically you will need to add a certain amount to that to kit it out with the kind of spec that you're likely going to need, but nevertheless that is a pretty eye-catching price for a boat of this size. Now let's start at the back here. Clearly this is a Flybridge model. If you don't have the Flybridge and just have the sedan, that is still accessible. You still get the staircase up to it, but then you just get an open space where you could have a couple of bean bags or sun pads, or perhaps more importantly, you could stow paddle boards or bicycles or whatever you want to up there. So don't dismiss the fact that just because it's a sedan, it's still a useful space up there. Now here at the stern we've got a relatively small bathing platform, but there is room to fit a couple of davits. You can see the holes in the deck there, so you can have davits to carry a tender on board. But you've got a nice little bathing platform to walk across. And then even little things. So on the previous model, these were aluminium. Here we've got stainless steel. So even though it's more affordable, it actually looks that much classier. And particularly with this Iroko decking, it looks really nice indeed. Now here in the cockpit, got a bit more space, but what's very, very clever is that when you're actually at anchor, and if you've launched the tender or haven't got a tender, this whole seat section just slides back. Give it a little bit of a push. And there's a useful amount. I don't think I've gone all the way actually. I think it goes a little bit further. There we go. So you can see that does actually create a whole lot more useful footroom and space for a table. You could easily have a table out here and director's chairs around it. And it really doesn't lose anything. Now there's also storage under here. If I can lift up, you can see got a couple of scatter cushions in there. But the whole ethos of the Swift Trawler range is that it's a type of boat that people actually do decent passages on. They will actually do proper cruising. They will live on board it. So storage is a really vital part of that. Now the steps up to the Flybridge here, these also lift and tuck away. I can't really do that one-handed, but if you'll notice there's a little attachment in the deck there that just unscrews. You've got hinges up here. So you literally just lift and tuck them away, and again it just frees up this space if you want to use it, if you've got a lot of people on board during the day for instance, or want to put a table out, that also just tucks away, frees up a bit more space. Before we go inside, let's just take a little walk around the decks. Really wide, deep side decks. You've got full protection overhead if it's raining. You've got rails to tie your fenders onto. Really good tall bulwarks here. They come up to hip height on me, nice and safe. Here are those little wood details, adds a little bit of design flair. Big sliding skipper's door right next to the helm, various different locations you can lock it into. Immediately opposite that is a gate in the bulwark, so if you want to step off the side, really handy for solo helming. Folds all the way round. They've got all the measurements just right, so perfect, easy access out from the helm station, straight out to the side deck, straight onto the pontoon. Nothing overly complicated, all simple manual stuff. Another stainless steel cleat here. A couple of steps up to the foredeck. That's needed to create a bit of height down below. but then really good deep tow rails. Even here you can see, I don't know if you can see my feet, but there's plenty of height there, so it makes it feel secure. And of course you've got guardrails up at about hip height here too, so you do feel safe on the foredeck. And for a small boat, they've made a good use of the space up here. Now this obviously is in bench mode. You can sit there, you've got cup holders either side. Really nice, in fact, to sit on the bow, facing forward, having a drink at anchor or even underway. It's a nice, slow, stable boat. But also, this all folds down. I might be able to do this one-handed. So you can tuck it all away, and then you've got a really good sized sunbed there too. Just a little look back, worth looking here, because here we've got a couple of optional sunroofs. I'll show you those from inside, but it just helps get a bit of extra light and of course fresh air into the saloon if you want it. Really generously sized anchor locker down here. There's access through both sides of it. Again, very simple touch. Why go to the expense of fitting an expensive sort of hinge mechanism or gas strut if you can just do a simple rope that does the job just as well. Good deep locker down there for plenty of chain and anchor road. Also space for fenders, and in fact this looks like the supports for a sun canopy. So I'll show you where that goes. Just close this down. I won't open that one up, but it's same access to the same locker, but just means if you fill this one up with fenders, you can go in through this side. And so the canopies for that sun canopy, they, I think, attach onto that. It's got a threaded screw on that. You can see, in fact, the canopy is tucked under that eyebrow, that windscreen eyebrow there. So that just folds out. Obviously, it's a little bit low under here, but by the time you get to the seating area here, you've got enough height on it and just provides shade if you still want to sit out. Exactly the same. There aren't any steps down on this deck. This is all a single level here, but good deep tow rails, so still feel nice and secure. And of course, you've got the guardrails coming all the way down here. Opening window on this side, another cleat here, and good to see that's another nice little detail. Just the fact that they've put a little stainless steel rub rail on there, so if you are leaving it for a long period of time, those ropes are not going to wear any gaps in your gel coat. You've got a stainless steel protector to make sure that that stays nice and clean. Let's go and have a look up on that Flybridge then. So really good, practical, versatile space up here. We've got the dining table here. This backrest on this forward-facing helm seat flips over. I might need to just undo that button there. That folds across, and then you've got a really good sized dinette up here. It's not a split folding table or anything, but it looks like it will lift out. But this is what I like. They've just been sensible about it. They haven't over-spec'd things. If people don't need an expensive high-low folding table, why bother with it? We've also got a fridge under here. So you've got a bit of cold storage space. The radar mast here, this folds flat, so if you want to sneak under a bridge, if you're using on the inland waterways, you can do that. There's a special storage slot for your life raft. And this is a very clever feature too. If you look behind this arch here, you'll see that there are in fact a couple of racks, and these are for paddle boards. So there's one on either side, and behind us here, there is a little very basic manual crane. So I think this will cope with about 80 kilograms. Very simple mechanism. You just lower the rope down, you attach it around your paddle board, maybe an outboard engine, whatever it is you want to lift, pull away on that, and it just provides a very simple lifting mechanism to ease heavier things on board like that. Helm station up in front of me here, single seat here, but again, because of that folding backrest, it just means you've got the option to have a couple of friends, your partner, children, whatever it is, sitting alongside you, all facing forward. Folding bimini overhead provides just enough shade. Fairly basic helm station, but everything you need. Now, it looks like a huge throttle as if you've got sort of a couple of engines. It is only a single engine design, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But they have gone to the trouble of creating a little extension here to bring the throttles closer to you, as well as easy access to the zip wake trim system. You'll notice it's got a bow and stern thruster. This is a single engine shaft drive boat, so really handy to have bow and stern thruster, helps you berth it. Good size screen in front of you, compass exactly where it should be. Relatively low windscreen, but because that's reverse angle, it should help push the air up over you, and it's not like you're racing along at 30 knots on board this boat. It's more like a sort of anywhere from displacement speeds up to about 20 knots, so it's not really going to be a problem. And this is another really clever little practical design. Often when you come up here, you'll notice all these have covers on them. Where are you going to put those covers? Very easy. They've just created an extra little locker down there, perfect space to put the covers for all the screens, sunglasses, sun cream, whatever else you want. You've got a couple of cup holders too, access to the music system, all the essentials, VHF under there, everything you need, nothing that is superfluous. Sliding glass doors through into the saloon. Nice to see that either side of it there's still glass, so it lets plenty of light through into the saloon. Good sized dinette over on this port side. And good to see that even under here, got storage under all of these seats. I think it's the same under these two. I won't lift it up, but you get the idea. It's all about practical stowage, practical cruising. Significantly bigger galley than there was on the old ST35. That was one of the things they were keen to change, and that's made a big difference. It means we've got a separate fridge freezer here. Not quite full height, but actually they're quite tall countertops, but you've got plenty of freezer space in there, plenty of chilling space in there. Good quality Corian top. Again, it actually feels more expensive than the ST35. So rather than feeling like they've taken cost out of it, it actually feels like they've put cost in, and yet somehow they've managed to build it more efficiently and reduce the price. Decent sink under there. 2-burner induction hob. Pretty decent size oven. Storage eye levels all around here. I won't open them all, but all three of those open up. Clever solution here too. Check this out. You've actually got a TV on that. Swings all the way around, so if you're sitting at the dinette, you can watch a movie, whatever it is, on that TV. Not the biggest you've ever seen, but you know what? Don't often go to sea to watch movies. There are better things to do. But it does mean that you just have got that facility if you want it. Okay. Moving forward, lots more storage space everywhere you look. There is a bin under there. There is a drawer under these seats. Don't know what they're, various engineering bits in there at the moment, but plenty of space. And under the helm seat here. There's air conditioning system in there, but obviously if you don't have the air conditioning, then you've got more storage space there. And yet another one over on this side. I know storage is not the most interesting thing to see on a video, but on a small practical boat like this, it's exactly the kind of thing people want to see. Helm station over on this side. It's really only a one-person bench. You probably could squeeze another bum on there if you wanted to. Bolster cushion on there. We've also got a fold-out footrest down there. Oh no, it's just a magnetic one. So that just folds down like that. So gives you a bit of extra height if you want to stand at the wheel. There's a proper sort of ship style wheel, so that can be quite handy. I'll show you the view from there. So you've got a bit of extra height just to peer through that windscreen. To be honest, I'm about 6 foot, don't really need it, works equally well standing without it. So just gives you a bit of extra height if you need it. Rather like the big ship's wheel, it makes you feel rather self-important if you are the master of a little ship rather than just a boat. Good clear dash layout here. Good size Raymarine screen. I'm not quite sure what width that is, but that looks plenty big enough for a boat of this size. Nice clear labelling of all the switch gear, anchor lights, water, pump, windscreen washers. There's that bow and stern thruster again. There are the zip weight controls. And the throttles for the Yanmar engine. And there's the little Yanmar engine information screen. Still got a compass there. Really nice mix of old and new. And crucially, there is a forward-facing co-pilot seat up here. And again, a good size. You could probably fit 3 people on there if you wanted to. Couple of steps up, just gives you a bit of a better view. And a manual sliding opening window. Again, simple, reliable, practical, affordable. Nothing's going to go wrong, but it doesn't cost a fortune to fit. Quite cleverly, they've made use of this space. If you want to do a bit of work on board, you've also got a simple fold-up table, locks into position. You can use it as a little workspace or desk for your computer. Bit of storage under there too. Triple windscreen wipers on that screen. Chances are you are going to be going out in different kinds of weather, so you're going to want decent windscreen wipers on it. Now there are those two opening sunroofs. They're not open at the moment, but you can see those slide open, gives you a bit of throughput of air as well as a bit of extra light. And then dropping down onto the accommodation deck, we'll go forward first. Now the owner's cabin is in the bow here, but they've made such good use of the available space. We've got much bigger windows wrapping around it, lets in plenty of light. It is sort of evening time here in Cannes at the moment, so maybe doesn't get the full effect of that, but it feels nice and open and airy, and the beam has been carried a long way forward. So actually there's a good width in here. How that affects the seakeeping we'll find out, but certainly from an interior volume space it feels terrific. Steps up on either side of the bed, but relatively shallow. A little bit of storage space alongside it. Now it's not quite a rectangular bed, you can see it does taper a little bit at the foot here, but you know what, that is still a pretty generous double bed. Over on this side we've got a hanging locker. TV on the bulkhead here. The woodwork also looks a little bit higher quality. I'm told that the veneer is just that much thicker, and it obviously looks and feels a bit more expensive for that reason too. So a little stack of shelves in there, and then ensuite access to the bathroom. Now there is only one bathroom on board here, but the big difference and the big win over the previous Swift Trawler 35 is the fact that you get a separate shower compartment. So even though it's only one bathroom, it is a really decent size. I might just flick the camera around so that you can see there is plenty of headroom above my head here, and when you move over into the shower there is a slight step down that ensures there's just as much headroom over me here in the shower compartment. So it's a small thing, but it makes a big difference. And of course, because there is that little lip on the shower tray there, it means no water is coming out into this area. So the loo, the basin, if you're just brushing your teeth, you don't end up getting wet feet because somebody's had a shower before you. It's opening porthole in there gives a bit of fresh air, and an opening hatch overhead, bit of extra natural light. So because this is the only bathroom, it's what we call a Jack and Jill one. We've got a second exit in through here. So in fact, why don't we go out through that way? So that means that it operates both as an ensuite cabin for the main forward master cabin, but also day heads access straight down these stairs and into it, and of course for the second cabin, which is immediately opposite. So this is the guest cabin. Now it is bunks, there's no getting away from that, there's simply not enough space to make it a twin, but the mattresses are a pretty good size, probably about 2.5 feet, tiny bit narrow at that end, a little bit bigger in the middle there just because of the flare of the hull, but overall there is enough space for an adult to sleep on that and not be too uncomfortable. One underneath obviously feels a little bit more claustrophobic because you haven't got those nice portholes above it, but you know what, you've got to have some compromises somewhere. Not a bad space. If you get the chance, take the top bunk just because of those portholes. A bit of storage space in here. Just a couple of shelves. Oop, holding the wrong part. Just enough space to stick your shoes and socks and t-shirts. Another thing that's just worth pointing out, you may not notice it, but there's a small reading light here. But as well as actually providing light, on the other side, just around here, I can't really show you it, but there's a little USB socket. So just a small thing, but clever, you know, it just means you can recharge your phone at night without having to leave it up in the saloon. Got a bit more storage behind here. Another space there. Another little bit of storage down there. And even out here, we've got a bit of extra storage under these steps. So nothing has gone to waste. Here are the electrics, the main switches, and of course the fire suppression system. But two more spaces I wanted to show you. Let me show you the lazarette first, in fact, because every good cruising yacht should have a lazarette space. But on a boat this size, you wouldn't expect too much. However, on this, check it out. Now, it's got quite a lot of boat show gear in here, but there are steps down into it. We've got an additional Plastimo life raft here, even though there is one up on the Flybridge. We've got a Marsa generator in there, all very neatly packaged away, but you can see there's storage space behind the steps. We've got those 2 tender davits stowed away in here. There's plenty more space all the way around there. Also, quite cleverly, we've got the raw water strainer here, so you don't have to go down into the engine room to check if you've got a blockage in that. So lots of space down there for storing all your kit. You could happily get a couple of folding bicycles down there. It's on gas struts, so I'm able to open and close it one-handed. Just gonna put that away, make sure nobody trips over it. And then through here is access to the engine. I'm just gonna flick those up. You can just pretty much do it with your toes. 2 little buttons there. Pull up here. And here is the engine. Now, it's a single Yanmar engine. You can either have 400 or 440 horsepower. But let me just see if I can drop down in here, give you a bit of a better idea of the space down here. There we go. Oh, just need to maneuver myself around a bit. But there you go. Just the one engine. It means there's space outboard of it for electronics down this side, exhaust down this side, nice big light keeping everything visible. And the other thing to know is that this section up here, just lift myself up here, you can see there is a latch here. You need to move this furniture, but if you ever do need better access to the engine, you can lift up this panel here to remove the table, remove the sofa corner, and then you've got full access to it. You can even lift the engine out if you need to. A couple of extra bits of information before we wrap it up. So one of the other options you can get in here is solar panels, and that will give you up to 5 hours of running time. So solar panels and lithium-ion battery means you don't need to run the generator all the time. Now, in terms of the engine, that single engine is very efficient. It means that you have about a range of 350 nautical miles at a cruising speed of 8 knots from only 800 litres of fuel. But for a modern production boat, a 350-mile nautical mile range is impressive. Now, top speed is not going to be that quick. It is a kind of semi-displacement hull, so you are likely to get around 18 knots maximum. And you can either have the 400 horsepower engine or the 440, which will obviously give you those extra couple of knots. But all up, I think this is a really impressive achievement. They have created a boat with more space, that looks classier, with more features. Some of those might be optional, but you know what? You don't have to have them, or you can spec them if you want them. And still, they have managed to bring it in at a cheaper price than the older, smaller, less expensive feeling Swift Trawler 35. So I think for that alone, Beneteau deserves a major slap on the back. So do please let me know what you make of it. Like I said at the beginning, I think this is probably one of the best value boats in its class. I'd love to know if you agree with me. Do please leave a comment, and as always, thank you very much for watching.